Hey everyone, it's your girl Miss Network. I'm coming to you straight out of NYC on this cool Saturday evening. So, I really wanted to do a review on the Bad Boys Houston Part 2. But it's not going to be like Part 1, where I'm going to give like a rundown, play-by-play of all the things that happened. What I really want to talk about in this review is the exploitation of Black people, specifically Black men, who not just want to be on a reality show, but also Black men who, to be fair, are identified in non-heterosexual orientation. So that's anything that's not heterosexual. The Houston auditions, it was literally set up like American Idol. First of all, you have Janisha John acting like she's a Rihanna Seacrest. And I say that because she has an accent, she's Caribbean, hence Rihanna, but also Seacrest as in Ryan Seacrest when he used to host still hosts the new version of American Idol. But it was just so ratchet. I mean, ratchet to the core. And what was really sad is seeing these Black men fight over just being heard, being seen, and being accepted. And if they didn't get a ticket, they would get upset. If they basically cut somebody in a line and they pretty much was called out over it, they wanted to fight, they had to be escorted outside. But it was really sad because it hit me. And this is why this review is not going to be favorable. And it hit me because I said, now I see why there's a rise in racism as if we are in 1930s, 40s, 50s, and 60s America. Because these white supremacists feel an open racism at that. They feel content to say and do the things they're doing towards Black people because they're seeing that the men are not manly. The common theme that I saw on this episode with season 2 is that whether they identified as gay, bi, pansexual, gender fluid, non-binary, polyamorous, they didn't, except for a couple did say they were straight, that they liked women. But I would say 90% of them, they ain't want to have nothing to do with a woman. Or at least a biological woman. They aren't trying to build a Black family unit or a traditional Black family unit. So these white supremacists are bold because they're seeing the men in our communities, the young men at that, they're not basically living in the traditional manhood experience, particularly Black manhood. So these racists are bolden. And it's very interesting how they became bold and brazen really in the last decade with the rise of Black Lives Matter. And many people say, well, Black Lives Matter, is pro-gender queer. And I forgot to mention that term because a lot of them are gender queer. But the young people in our community, many of them don't identify as straight or heterosexual. Doesn't mean that they're gay, but they're not heterosexual. So these Proud Boys, all these other alt-right groups, it's basically, this is great. We could easily come in and attack Black people because they're young men. They're looking at them as buck broken. And I said, I get it. And this is what Lemmy is telling us. Because when I reported it the last time about Bad Boys, I said, if this was 20 years ago, the Bad Boys, most of them would be heterosexual. traditional black males that we were seeing. But 20 years later, we're seeing like non-heterosexual black men. And I'm like, wait a minute. So this is what Bad Boys is now? But here's the thing. I didn't see not one white man, male, or genderqueer person there. All blacks and, some Hispanics, but no whites and no Asians. And you can't tell me that's not by design. Now, I'm going to do one review on a contestant. He was from Philadelphia. He had the pink outfit on. And I think his name was Adonis, something like that. And he was from Philadelphia. So, what's his name? Blueface, Krishan Rock's boy. Well, I don't even know how to identify their relationship. But Blueface said, do you like men or women? How do you identify? He says, I'm pansexual. So Blueface is like, huh? What's that? He says, I like all genders. I'm inclusive. So he was like, do you date men or do you date women? He was like, well, I date women and that means I date women and I date men too. And he was like, what the fuck am I explaining myself to you, nigga? And he got real, buck with it. Like, he was about to fight. And he was really manly, but he doesn't identify as straight, gay, or bi. He identifies as pansexual. And pansexualism, a lot of people have issues with it because many people believe that the P is like a code for another P, if you know what I mean. So people aren't really feeling the whole pan thing. It's very controversial. So to see this black man from Philly that acts, somewhat hard and everything and was about to fight Blueface over that. Like, nigga, why the fuck am I explaining my sexuality to you for? Nigga, the fuck? And he pansexual. And I've studied the whole thing about the Pan, Peter Pan, the God of Pan, and child, that's a whole nother topic. But when I saw how they was fighting, those gay men was fighting to where they destroyed the set and they had to cancel it, I said, oh Lord. Oh Lord. I said it was a mess. It was a mess. But it was sad. It was really, really sad. Because what it really shows is that us women, and the young women really, they don't have nobody to really fight for them. And as long as our men are not really strong, in a sense, these white supremacists are going to be bold and brazen to come at us. It's just sad all around. And I know people may think I'm being anti, but I'm really not. But I'm telling you about the minds of a lot of these white supremacists. And I'm going to be honest with you. White supremacists love to see black men like that. They get a kick out of it. Because they feel that it basically makes it easier for them to basically keep us down and attack us. Like, we have the reparations movement, and a lot of black men, they are speaking, but not like they would, because they have these, they're very afraid. It's like the women are more bold than the men. It's just sad all around. It was hurtful to see. I'm not going to lie. It was really hurtful. So with that being said, I'm signing off. Thank you for listening and have a good night and enjoy the rest of your weekend.